Promise that you'll catch me.
What's going on? Happy Friday. Hope you all enjoyed that beautiful full moon in Aquarius. How you doing? It's Intuitive Jacob back. We're going to do a down and dirty daily, a little bit of energy hygiene, clearing energy to these sounds, and pulling them out of our chi. And we'll also be doing a little look at some astrology. I did want to thank those of you that have recently subscribed and spoken to me directly. I've had some personal readings that have gone absolutely fantastic, and wanted to mention that I'm on Twitter at Intuitive Jacob. I'm also doing some just draws and readings, messages that are coming up throughout the day. So if you're on Twitter, hit me up here. I do a lot of free work there. Let's see here what is showing up on the solar fire. Solar fire. Fire. So this is the transits chart that's going on at the time that I open this here. So we'll flip this open for today. What I'm looking at, what we're looking at, quite a number of things going on, but I'm going to pay special attention to maybe three things. Number one being where our moon has transited. The collective, if we can call it that, has been sorted recently thanks to blockchain technology and what we know about people's internal workings, not only based on charts like these things that we can do on natal charts for people, but on your absolute biorhythm that's been identified on IP addresses and simulation cards like your cell phone, things that actually can predicate what is inside the purse that's on, your person. And we're learning new ways to discuss these things. There are a number of new news and witnesses that we will have for how to look at our day-to-day lives that are coming out in the open. And this could be a really big time for that because of how so many of the cosmic energies have changed, why we've been in these retrogrades and eclipses, what gets highlighted under the full moon. You can check the recent readings if you want to catch up on all of that, but specifically what I wanted to talk about in the quote-unquote collective, that which has actually been collected. We've got a grand water trine occurring right now, and the moon is a part of it. And I bring up the moon because the moon actually changes. It transits every 2.5 days. So it's one of those things that sets a barometer for the emotional undertones of what is being experienced. And what we're looking at here is the moon in the 4th house. We're looking at the north node of that moon, which is kind of like a cosmic magnet where we lift off what the veil actually never was. And why Mercury looks like this. It's literally like, here's what comes off of our heads. It's what Venus said. And these are the things that are protecting what's in the 9th house. We'll get to that in a little bit, but 8th house involvement, 4th house involvement, and right here at the very, very tip of the 1st house for this angle with the cosmic ascendant. Okay, so how we actually rise from the primordial essence of what Scorpio actually is. It's kind of like that liquid fire that went molten and learned to be earth. Things that the Scorpion knows about ascension from the dirt and the ooze, and why they're covered in those shiny, fancy clothes that protect with an exoskeleton. And it's coming out of the 12th, and so I'm kind of looking at this a little bit more like a 12th house involvement, simply because it's like how we rebirth ourselves in the light of a very conscious moon, because the Pisces moon is so meditative, it's so deep, it's so rich with nuance of the unseen and what is felt in subtle energies, and it's hitting on some serious topics for us. 4th house is like our roots, home, parents, what we do at the end of our life. The 8th house is all about regeneration, sex and death, money we receive from other people. And that 12th house, seclusion, secrets, institutions, how we undermine ourselves, self-sabotage, spirituality, devotion, and what that cusp is on how we appear in the outer world, our personality. These are all things that are being stirred in that mix of what the Pisces moon has just brought us, which is a pretty big change from the Aquarius full moon. That's just ramped and full of energy to break through what was never there to begin with. And this is what a rebirth cycle is, loves. So today, this could be a little agitating for people because of where Mercury actually is here. 9th house matters. This is like personal magic. It's some good stuff. I love it personally. I have a 9th house sun myself, but this is your house of where you philosophize. It's your higher education. It's law, legal matters, publishing, travel, religion. All of those expansive ideas. It's very Sagittarian in nature. Now we've got this fiery character here, Leo, influencing Mercury, which has just tons and tons of fire influences, because of there's like a bum rush happening here in the 10th house too with all this Leo stuff, but there's a push that's happening because of this square between our 9th house of communication influenced matters now due to the Leo influence on Mercury, and it's squared with Uranus in the 6th house, going retrograde, no less. And so since this is in Taurus, it's like things that might have been sluggish and stuck for long periods of time. I'm hearing for some of y'all, this is the end of like 6 and 8 year cycles, and where things that came in as halflings, like somewhere halfway in that cycle, might be getting their butts kicked because of what's being reviewed here. This is how things get done. The 9th house is established rules, and then we're looking at this. It's almost quarrelsome energy for some people. It could be tense. Matters of how we get about in our day-to-day life, work, service, health issues, matters, healing, and this strange communication here that might be triggering for some people. Hearing about nerves. For some people, this is like nervous tension and anxieties. And it's just good to know that there are things that you can do to keep calm and avoid those stresses and stay away from stressful situations and people as much as you can. It's going to get better here. What a difference one night's sleep can make. Because over the night, Mars is actually going to make a move, and that's going to help because there's a lot of energy here with Mars being in the 10th, Venus being in the 10th, the Sun being here in the 10th, how this reflects on people's lives in the cosmic natal chart. We're looking at things that show up in the open, the reputation, our status, what it is we do for money, our careers. And all of these things, even though they're not speaking directly to the 6th house, it's like the influence of energy because there's so much happening within the sign of Leo that it could be aggravating, especially if we're just seeing how things are being lifted off and what this relationship is here to the North Node and what it's here to do for us while it is in opposition to Pluto. It's literally what cannot continue. We have Saturn here also speaking up to this, and this is influencing people's house habits, who they live with, siblings, and possessions, and where it no longer serves and kind of goes through a nearly forced death regeneration cycle. It's being pulled off here. But at any rate, Mars is especially charged with all of this energy here, and tomorrow on Saturday, Mars is actually moving into Virgo. And so that should have somewhat of a calming effect for people. It won't be as tenuous or as aggressive or combative. It's more of a service-oriented energy. So if there are things that you've been wanting to do in service to self and others, anything with higher ideals, it's going to get a lift over this weekend. So just know that if you're around prickly people that are challenging you, that are getting up in your face and being overly critical, avoid them if you can. Take salt baths. I've been regularly jumping in my fur sauna. I've got a far infrared sauna, and I've been just going in there and sweating my ass off and like doing salt exfoliations on my skin to pull things out of the somatic cells. It's very helpful right now at this time. If you have access to things like that, I would highly recommend anything you can do for self-care, body care. It's going to be really good for your mind, and make sure you're not beating yourself up too, because that's one of the things that can happen with Mars going into a sign like Virgo. Virgo can be very analytical to a point where it's just self-faulting and just taking a lot of responsibility internally, and that could be so with Mars. There's sometimes people will hit something really hard and have a lot of expectations about how they are doing that, and it can be self-reflective in a little bit of a challenging way, so be nice to yourself. So a little bit about the cosmic chi and weather. I hope that was helpful for those of you that are looking for information like that. I'm spraying some of my blue bottle mist. This is a very special sage that I've been making. It's a limited quantity. It's actually full of some very special residue from work that I have been putting into this over the past several years. So some of the things that I've actually aggregated over the course of having done in-house exorcism work and different kinds of spiritual cleanses have actually gone into this formulation. I've got a limited quantity. If you're interested, they're $15 for a bottle. They're nice glass bottles, very nice quality container. Once you finish using it, you might want to use it for other things like this too. It's really nice. Just hit me up at jacob@artoflove.me. I've still got some of those left, and I was actually told I need to make a bigger batch because of the interest in this. And I'm also putting up a sign here. I'm doing a personal reading special for 20 minutes. 20-minute readings for $22 this weekend only. If you send 22 to me at the Cash App at Jacob Zan, that's JAKOBXAN, I'd love to do one of those for you. They're normally $33, so hit me up if I can help with that. And if not, let's just go ahead and get started for the card reading, because we have got somebody shy that wanted to speak up that I'm hearing might finally do it. I just opened right up to that. We've got Jovian Fanchula, and we've got the Messageri. I'm hearing about something that was sent to somebody because of what they weren't able to actually confront. So you're going to know if that's the case for you. And okay, I'll go ahead and take these. 3 cards just popped out. I hear this might have something to do with how something got collected. They're telling me about La Donna di Servizio. This is somebody very kind and genteel. This is somebody that might be like borderline on a friend. This is somebody with really good friend potential that might just be showing up in service to others around. And I'm hearing about an enemy that might have been somewhere in the middle of a friend circle. They're talking to me about interlopers, parties of 3, and how things get revealed, and why somebody might have been afraid to speak up because of loving feelings and just what the relationship was perceived as is what I'm hearing about. And something that happened, they're saying somebody lost a family member, and there's a message coming up about it for somebody here, especially if you've been dealing with anybody who had an ill relative, and maybe something to do with funds that were held up. But yeah, they're showing me this Eladro here, and I'm hearing for some of you all that it's like maybe it wasn't so much an enemy, but I'm hearing about well, religious matters for somebody in a religious family that doesn't get spoken about much. But I'm hearing for somebody else it has something to do with just multiple options, and somebody who had like a screening technique that was going on and how they're willing to interact. I'm hearing for some of you all it's like the 2 different faces that people will show when they're making changes in their own life, and like not wanting people to know too much about their status. I'm hearing it's like something about the writing on the wall and what somebody was trying to clean up here to make sure that the wall was safe. And I'm hearing it might be like maybe your Twitter wall, could be your Facebook, some kind of social media thing. But I'm hearing it's like the wipe, and it's because of how people have been going and chipping away. And I'm hearing there was some like nasty text messages that might have been going to somebody that if this is your story, if they have not communicated with you, they might have been dealing with something kind of shady, like on their social media. Very specific messages for somebody, can't be for everybody. I'm going to go ahead and take some energy out of that, and we'll get this clear for the next one. And we're actually going to do it down and dirty daily. I'm going to clear the energy and do some more shuffling. And it's here. Oof. I hear you too, baby. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. All right. So let's flip to the musical tarot deck and see what we get from Archangel Gabriel. All right. We've got In the House of Yes by Mr. Twin Sister. And I'm hearing for somebody, especially if you've been in that sluggish place where you might have taken a move. I'm just hearing about somebody who's getting a major kick in their life because of like this Uranus thing. Uranus going retrograde again in Taurus, and it just shaking some people up. And I'm hearing you might have been in a situation where it felt like no everywhere you went, and it's suddenly going to be like a big yes. And for some of you it has to do with communication coming through that you've been waiting for, that you might have given up on. And for others, it might be a little unsettling too, because it's got that potential to surprise. People could be having very unsettling news. I'll even just read to you while I'm doing this here from my ephemeris, how they actually stated this. Surprising or upsetting news. Mercury square Uranus. And I'm hearing that it could definitely be an upset for somebody. So let's see what this yes is all about. I'm in the mood. La donna maritata. So for some of you, this is actually you right there, considering the house, the family, and the kids, things going on. And I'm hearing for some of you, especially if you've been evaluating the one to have in your life, whether or not they're the dad of those kids or it's the dad that you like to have the kids with, I'm hearing you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. Okay. And for somebody, it's just learning how to open up. Because there's a friend here, this card just slid right off, and I'm hearing for some of you all, if you're not the married wife with the kids, it's like you're the friend, but something has been in the way right here, and that's what you need to talk about. So we've got the friend and the conversation showing up here. I keep hearing, I'm in the mood. So something died. Something died, somebody might have died, or somebody might be grieving what it's like to have to move on. So for somebody, this might actually be about being a widow or a widower, or what passed before here, and how a baby shows up in the room. For some of you, congratulations, maybe you're with child. This might be planning for something. I'm hearing about, hey, bless you, baby. My little girl's screaming over here. Hearing about the subtleties in how we learn to grieve a process that might be laden like this, because there's showing me somebody that might have actually lost a family member or friend at or around the time that a baby is showing up. And for other people, this is just that new start that gets protected, and it's showing me about the regeneration that happens. And I'm hearing for somebody, it's like they're telling me your son is the spitting image of grandpa. It's like, and it's something about the month of August that just brings this up. And I'm hearing about child number 2 and a sacred trust. Alright, let's see what's showing up on this third card here. Wow. This showed up while I was shuffling here during the energetic hygiene in the beginning, and this is the happiness of the heart. Hearing for some of you all, this is about how it is to be handed off from one to the other. It's like being handed, literally, hand to hand, from one person to another. Sometimes this is what is shown to me when a betrothal is being made, or when somebody's being asked to take the place for various different reasons. But I'm hearing for some of you all, this is really just knowing that it's like seeing grandpa again in a baby face, and the cycles that change how we regenerate ourselves in every way. And for somebody, it's like learning how to prioritize mama's needs too, because come on, mama, you know you're giving everything to these babies here. I'm hearing for some of you, it's like, where's my special friend? You know, I need a special friend here. I'm done like mourning over this. And where this friend is like, you know, I can leave these problems here and push this chair out of the way, and maybe we just need to have a talk here. And I'm hearing for some of you all too, especially if you like the mom wanting to get out or something, it's like you need to go dancing, and they're giving me this jazzy vibe with this music. If you like this Mr. Twin Sister in the House of Yes, or you might want to go to the jazz club and just have a good time with your friend. They're showing me, you know, somebody that's going out and dancing and having a good time over the weekend. I hope that's for you. You might actually meet somebody really cool, and for some of y'all, it might be somebody to focus on for different things that happen in the future. Maybe baby one, maybe baby two. But I'm hearing for some of you all, it's like seeing that change happen before your face, where it's like life and death and what you leave behind for something new. And sometimes that happens just because of who's standing in front of you. All right, I hope that was helpful. I love you guys so much. If you're interested in your own private reading, hit me up at artoflove.me. I'd love to do that for you. Follow me at Intuitive Jacob on Twitter if you'd like my style reading. Like I said, I'm doing more Sibilas and things throughout the day for free. And if you want a personal reading that's on discount, look at the information here. Personal reading special, 20 minutes for $22. You can send $22 to Jacob Zan via Cash App. I'm running that special all weekend. And I hope you're strong. Let's not be weak. All right. Take care. We'll catch you again soon. We're back for another one, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.
Promise that you'll catch your